We've brought you some tech news to get you through the most evil day of the year, Black Friday, when skeletons rise from their graves and... Is that not what Black Friday means? dbrand and Zach Jerry Everything Nelson are taking competing phone case company Casetify to court for allegedly stealing their teardown skin designs. The theft was discovered when dbrand and Nelson carefully analyzed Casetify's inside-out case for about 1 second. As Nelson explained in a YouTube video, he and dbrand painstakingly reproduced the internals of phones and laptops for their teardown series of skins, but they also include fun little Easter eggs in said skins because that's what Black Friday is all about. Can I get a hallelujah?
James, is still, you're missing it.
What? I don't understand Black Friday, but I do understand it doesn't make sense for Casetify to have the same exact Easter eggs on their inside-out products. I also know what you're thinking. Casetify must have bought dbrand skins, scanned them, changed a couple things, then sold them as their own work. But you're actually giving them way too much credit. Based on the research of Nelson and dbrand, attorneys at law, it looks like Casetify used lower res product images from dbrand's own site. In a further update, Casetify may have also cheated off iFixit, as pointed out by Labs correspondent Jake Danes on a tip from the LTT subreddit. They did a journalism! In Casetify's defense, they at least tried to hide their thievery, while Iranian company Mahout Leather hit Control-C, Control-V, and called it a day.
You can boost your earnings goodbye.
Does no one know how to properly plagiarize anymore? Kids these days are so spoiled by ChatGPT.
Boost is kiss in Persian.
And get this, Casetify just released a statement calling themselves a bastion of originality. A bastion! Never call yourself a bastion.
You won't believe this, dbrand released that same statement 4 months ago.
Lenovo is taking Asus to court for allegedly violating 4 of their patents. What is Oprah Winfrey giving out lawsuits? Lenovo is seeking damages for a halt on sales of any infringing products within the US. For example, the company says the Asus ZenBook Pro 14 OLED's Wake on LAN tech, diagonal scrolling capability, and even its hinge all violate patents granted to Lenovo. I don't know. It sounds a bit unhinged. Anyway, in a press release on Tuesday, Lenovo said the lawsuit was a last resort as they had previously offered Asus a cross-licensing deal earlier this year as a solution. Now, however, Lenovo demands Asus stop marketing, advertising, selling, distributing, basically doing anything with their laptops in the United States. While they're at it, Lenovo decided to channel Kelly Jensen from middle school by claiming this won't harm US consumers for competition since Asus's market share is so small. Asus, some advice, if I may. When you run home to your bedroom and lock the door, blast Soundgarden to hide your loud sobs. Chinese factories are taking apart thousands of brand new RTX 4090s to make specialized GPUs for AI, according to posts on Baidu, which is offensive to me as a fan of GPU Shortage 1. It was perfect. It doesn't need a sequel. The export restrictions on AI chips to China took effect November 17th, just after NVIDIA was supposed to launch their Chinese export restriction compliant AI chip, the H20. But NVIDIA delayed that launch until the first quarter of next year. Fortunately for AI companies, crafty NVIDIA absolutely pumped out RTX 4090 orders to China before the restrictions took effect. Unfortunately for actual gamers, those cards seem to have been bought up by potentially sketchy companies that are dismantling them and slapping their chips into blower-style coolers that are more suited for multi-card systems. Now, the Chinese market has been flooded with cheap coolers and 4090 PCBs, which are useful for repairing melted 4090s. To be fair, you need to have a 4090 to melt in the first place. All of these perfectly good cards are going to AI farms, while Chinese gamers are left in the lurch. All they want to do is drop at Lazy Lagoon with the boys. Now it's time for the quick bits brought to you by UPDF. A PDF editor is like a can opener. You don't think you need it, but then a recipe calls for crushed tomatoes and you try substituting ketchup and you ruin the pasta night. UPDF can help you sign important documents or even translate foreign recipes using their AI-empowered tools. Their OCR, or optical character recognition, conveniently transforms images into editable text, meaning you can immediately ruin those same recipes with your weird substitutions. You can also convert PDF files into other popular file formats like Word and even Bitmap for all you Bitmap fan. For the limited time Black Friday sale, UPDF is offering an insane, incomprehensible 63% off, so click the link below and check it out before you get your sanity back. Don't spread it around, but Linus has been diagnosed with a debilitating neurological condition that prevents him from saying quick bits. It's also terminal. Developer HackHive.io on Reddit has discovered a fun workaround to Google's current crackdown on ad blockers, an extension that simply mutes ads and plays them at 16x the original speed. The developer also plans to create a version that automatically clicks the skip button when it becomes available. They've even submitted it to the Chrome store, and it technically doesn't break the rules, just like how technically Google CEO Sundar Pichai can't pay a large beefy man to break HackHive.io's knees. That would be against the rules. HackHive, the bee's knees, there's something in there. Speaker maker Sonos will be expanding its business to offer its first ever headphones, releasing a $400 over-ear set next year, possibly as early as April, which is such a natural progression as it's honestly kind of weird that they weren't doing that already.
I can't wait to not be able to resell them.
Sonos is apparently considering following up with earbuds. Again, seems inevitable. It's an ambitious plan with the headphones codenamed Duke, which sounds like intended to compete directly with the Apple's AirPod Max and other high-end headsets. At least that's according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, the undisputed Gretchen Wieners of the tech world. That's why his head is so big, it's full of secrets. Mean Girls reference. Samsung is catching some heat for removing some screen burn-in protection in their most recent OS update. That may not be too bad according to Rtings' 10-month study of OLED and LCD burn-in, simulating 6,000 hours of real-world usage. While the OLED TVs they tested experienced some burn-in, it wasn't noticeable during normal use, while every LCD had overt degradation. But it's still nothing compared to the images my brain has retained since early childhood when I walked into my parents' room at the wrong time. I never wanted to see my neighbors like that. Google made a deal with Spotify that let the audio company avoid paying anything to Google if its users paid directly through Spotify, according to testimony shared during the Epic v. Google trial. If Spotify users picked Google's payment processor while signing up, Google would get a 4% cut, but that's way less than 15% Google's standard cut for subscriptions for the past 2 years. That deal's even better than the 10% cut Google offered to Netflix, who had watched enough Shark Tank to know it was time to say, I'm out. Prior to this testimony, Google understandably requested the deal's specifics remain sealed. I wouldn't want to advertise the fact that I'll give you tech news for free if you're important enough. I will. And Ubisoft has issued a statement regarding their surprise in-game Black Friday ads. In yesterday's Game Linked, that's a different channel, but it's kind of the same, we reported that players of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and some other franchise titles reported in-game ads for 20% off Assassin's Creed Mirage that would prevent them from accessing the map screen unless they pressed a button to make the ad go away. In a statement, Ubisoft said the ad was supposed to show up in the main menu of Assassin's Creed games but was misplaced due to a technical error in that they meant to do it, but since no one liked it, it was technically a mistake. But it's never a mistake to come back on Monday for more tech news, and if you have a free moment, please tweet at Linus and tell him he's in your thoughts and prayers as he battles this affliction. Just don't tell him we sent you. Make it seem genuine.
We don't want to make him feel shy.